Hello?
Jeremy,
Hey, how's it going?
hey, you're not supposed to be here.
No, but you invited me, so I thought I'd say hi before I have to go.
Awesome. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi.
How are
Thank you for
you?
the invite.
You're
I'm
welcome.
awesome. I'm just,
Automated systems are awesome.
yeah, they are. Well, drink lots of beer for me.
I will. If you send me yours, I'll drink yours too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
That'll be a heck of a show. Two EnjoyBys in one night.
Hmm. All right, catch you later.
All right, later, bud. For any of you listening or watching this live broadcast, uh, we are possibly not doing the show this evening. We seem to have a lack of hosts at this point. I'm trying to see if Gary will join me, and it might be a two-man show. His computer is booting at the moment, so hopefully he'll be here in a minute. Rob is here from North Carolina. Hi, Rob.
Hi. Oh wait, I'll look over here. I'm on my
Hi.
iPad.
Hi. Yeah, look at the camera.
Hello.
iPads are
Hello.
weird, though. How's
What's
North
up?
Carolina?
Gorgeous,
Is it lovely?
cool, and beautiful. It is lovely.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are having a blast.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Look,
I'm
we're up here
loving
on the, we're
all
up
the
here on the
puns.
mountain. We're up here on the mountain.
Oh, you're outside. Oh, look at that. That's the most beautiful pixelated forest I've ever seen.
Yeah. Fantastic. I have no beer to drink, but I'll hang out with you.
Okay, well, we'll have you as long as you can. Jeremy had to drop, so he's out.
He's out.
Jeremy's out. Gary's on his way.
I'll drink my cherry pomegranate diet shake though.
Cherry pomegranate diet shake. Wow,
Delicious.
that sounds awful. Is that what you're doing
Have you had a
to
chance
to
to
lose
look at
weight?
that Twilight Struggle game?
No. Is that what you're doing to lose weight? The diet shake thing,
Huh?
Rob?
What?
Is that what you're doing to lose
What'd you
weight?
say?
All right, there's a terrible lag right now. This show's not
Yeah,
going to continue
yeah.
like that.
Yep. What is it now? I have 85. Wow, this is bad. Okay, let me see if I can switch to my laptop, and that might work better.
Okay. So, I think That means I'm live on Alpha Geek now, too. But I'm live all alone. It's one of those weird things, a podcast of 4 people waiting for at least a host to show up. Here's Gary.
Hey, I am here finally.
Good, excellent. I hope you're not going to talk like that all night.
No, I don't plan to. I can, though, if you want me to.
Well, we just had Rob on for a moment, and he was like that because the lag was fierce.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's not in his normal homestead, so who knows what his internet connection is like. Oh, there he is.
He's trying to get on his laptop now to see if that's any better, but if it's not, we're just going to boot him.
Are we actually live right now? Is it really
We are
really
live. Yeah, we're
awesome.
really, really live. We haven't officially started the show, but I wanted to jump on Alpha Geek, at least let them know what was going on.
Okay.
Rob, your
Then,
video is better.
I better go get a beer then, huh?
Not just any beer,
A special beer.
a special beer.
Special 4th of July version of beer.
That's right.
All right. It's in the fridge. I'll be right there.
Okay. So, Rob, can you hear us better? You're not talking to us. Your video's better. And yet, nothing.
Never mind. No, there's no point. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, we still don't have audio from Rob, but maybe he can just sit and watch the show. We'll have Rob in the corner.
His laptop's probably muted and he doesn't know how to turn off the mute.
Yeah, it could be.
All right.
He's not wearing headphones, so I'm suspicious of everything he has set up.
Is it even moving or is it frozen?
It was
I heard
live.
myself.
But
I hear
now
an
it's
echo.
Yeah. Rob, you should not do that.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
mic's
headphones
must be
too.
on.
No, I'm going to boot you real fast.
He should do the show intro like that, though.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Rob,
Yeah,
you
probably
talk
won't.
to
It would only echo for us.
All right. Well, by the time we get started, Jeremy might actually be on.
Yeah. He stopped in to say hi because I invited him. But he had to leave. I can't hear you, Rob, at all, but you're echoing us back. So you got about 30 seconds to figure out, and then I'm going to kick you.
I muted him.
Oh, thank God. All right, now you can just sit and watch again, because we muted you, Rob.
Yeah. Since I muted Rob, it must mean that his audio is the problem. So.
Yeah, definitely, because now it's gone.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant singer, but not so much a good guy behind the soundboard.
Yeah. Technical skills might be a little lacking there.
Well, you know, he's a banker. What do you want?
Oh. So do we not have a show outline?
No, probably not. Lord knows I didn't do one.
All right, I better get on that.
Rob.
So, just so you know, Keith, it's 18.
Is it? I've already labeled it 17, I think.
Well, that's because we didn't have a new outline, because it hadn't been created, and it's still, the most current one said 17, but that was last week.
Yeah, but we didn't do a show last week.
Well, that was... Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
The last show, I looked at the last show in YouTube, it was 16. So I labeled this one 17.
Oh, okay. Well, then Jeremy created an outline thinking we might do a show.
Or it's for last week's show that never happened.
Yeah, I think that's what I said.
Oh, right. Okay.
Rob's
I'm glad we agree
All right.
on this.
Yeah. So we'll just change the show date to.
Do I have a bottle opener for this bad boy?
6:30, the last day of the month. We are well into the official summer, and I cheated. I drank one of the Sierra Nevada beers the other day. By the way.
You bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you. You drank the stout. You posted
That one
it
we
went
already
really
did.
well with
I drank one
something.
of the banana chocolate chip shit.
Uh,
It's really good. Which 0704.
Hello.
okay, now you just sound broken
I
up.
hear you.
Hello.
That's not too
Hello.
bad, and it's no echo.
Well, it's no echo, but it's pretty bad on this end. You sound all distorted.
My question earlier was, how can it be echoing and yet you can't hear me?
It was echoing our voices back to us. You had somehow piped
But
in.
how is that possible if it was muted?
You had somehow piped. Well, when we muted you, you disappeared. But somehow you had piped in your audio, the audio coming out your speakers into your input channel.
That's crazy.
When
Yeah.
I muted you, the echo thing went away. So
Yeah, it was definitely you.
all right, we should get started.
Yeah. Rob, any more technical difficulties? And I love you, but we're gonna kick you. Okay.
Yes, Daddy.
You're just wildly unpredictable in North Carolina.
Yes, Father.
Okay, thank you. All right. So you got a show opener for Rob, since you're there?
Sure.
You want to wing one?
Sure.
All right. Buttons.
We're starting to drink it.
Rob's drinking a shake. He doesn't have any beer.
I thought he was going to drink a whole growler.
I
Yeah.
didn't pick up the growler.
Once again, he let us down.
Rob.
I am here.
Right, but we wanted you here with beer.
We wanted you to be really drunk, Rob.
Yeah. That would make it all kinds of fun.
Because Keith and I are going to be really drunk, Keith, and really drunk
Yes,
Gary.
absolutely.
I could pour myself a Jack and Coke if you'd prefer.
Sure.
All right, let me just quick test sound.
Yep, we're good.
That was good. Too loud? No? Yes?
Good.
Okay. All right. Welcome to PNRShow Season 3, Episode 17. We're sneaking into the beer camp, a Stone EnjoyBy for 7/4/2016. And I lost the show steam. There it is.
I'd rather have lager than rye. I'll take a strong stout over strive. I prefer to confer with a half pint of ale and live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager.
It just occurred to me that we asked Rob to do a show opener and then send him away to get a Jack and Coke. So this is the point where Rob would start saying a show opener.
From the deep dark railiest corner of the interwebs, it's the Pint of No Turn Show, live from North Carolina, New York, and California. Tonight, we celebrate our independence. He
Tonight
may
we-
celebrate his by booting me from the show pretty soon. Yeah.
Tonight we're outnumbering the West Coasters finally, Rob. We got 2 on the East Coast and only 1 on the West, so we can take the country back, Rob. You and me.
Finally. I'm up the mountains of North Carolina on vacation in a beautiful cabin with my amazing, lovely wife, but I would not be dissuaded from at least joining you for part of your show.
The part between now and when his connection dies.
Yep.
Okay. That's good.
So
You know
I'll
what,
let you
my-
guys drive the show. I'll just be a passenger.
My
Well-
disturbingly warm, so
Yeah, we're gonna rush ahead here. skip past the feedback section, which is too bad because it's full of really interesting comments from all our listeners, and push on to whatever part of the show the beer show is.
Take it. Wow. Okay.
That is a really bad thing to put on a podcast.
Yeah, I was thinking after I pressed that maybe the TARDIS sound effect was not the right choice there. But it's been and gone and done in this live show, so we're moving on.
Doctor Who is never the right sound effect.
You want a cookie thing for it?
So tonight we're enjoying, instead of our beer camp beers, because where there's one of us missing and one of us away from his fridge, we are sneaking in a Stone EnjoyBy, which is the EnjoyBy date is coming up very rapidly as July 4th. This beer is designed to be brewed or enjoyed fresh. It was brewed in, May, I think? The end of May. And it's a limited run, and they brew it, and they ship it, and you got to drink it by July 4th, or it's supposed to come back off the shelves. Which I don't think
it's intended to be drank within 37 days of bottling. So my bottle says bottled on 5/30/16, so we're just about 30-ish, 30-plus days, 31, 32. So by the time we get to the 4th, it'll be right within that range of their dates. So EnjoyBy typically isn't available everywhere, but it seems like they've been having a pretty good distribution on it recently.
Well, I think they move the target distribution areas around each one. There's roughly, 4 of these a year, these EnjoyBys? And
well, I think we get about 4 here in California. I think they're maybe
but they move the target regions around. So like they'll ship to the Northeast one region and the Southwest one region. Stuff like that. Although I'm hoping with they have a new Virginia or North Carolina brewery or something like that coming online soon. So maybe we'll get some more EnjoyBy up here. But the July one was definitely available in New York, and that's the first time I've seen that. And I'll tell you a little secret, I had a bottle of it already because when I saw it, I was so excited. I grabbed it, and I had a bottle of it on my birthday.
Nice. Did you get the 6-pack, or did you get the big
No,
bottle?
this is the full size. I just have freakishly large hands. See, there's my hand, and there's the pint bottle.
Okay, you do have freakish. Yeah. So we recently started getting 6-packs of EnjoyBy. It used to only be 22, so I'm glad that it's in 6-packs. I picked up the 22 for this, so I guess I want to drink the whole thing because I had a long week. So according to Stone's website, we have 3 days, 6 hours, 45 minutes, and 46 seconds left to drink our beer.
Well, we're going to make it just under the wire.
Take your time, then. Just go slow. By the way, while they're drinking their beer, I'm gonna be enjoying a Gentleman's Jack and Diet Coke. So what?
This is a little warmer than it probably should be because I picked it up on the way home. But I look forward to EnjoyBy and pretty much buy every version of it that comes out. I think it's the same beer. It's just such a massively hopped beer that it's hard for them to produce it in massive quantities like their other stuff. But it is.
Well, the whole point of it is to drink it as fresh as it can be. Beer, unless it's a real super high alcohol, is not made to be stored. It's made to be drunk fresh, and that even the mass-producing companies have realized that a few years back when they started putting born on dates and stuff on your cans. So you could check and make sure you were getting the freshest beer and not the one that had sat around on the shelf for 2 years. So Stone just kind of embraced that with this beer, and it's just a fantastic beer to do it with. So it's really nice. I've had them before only when you guys have sent them to me. So this was a nice treat to be able to get it in New York this time.
Yeah, I say they. This is interesting. So they're calling this one. Usually their motto is devastatingly fresh, and this is now devastatingly independent because of the July 4th date on this.
Sure.
Brewed with 10 different hops. So that's a lot of hops in the beer.
I think
Rob,
here in New York we probably only got 9 of them because there was probably 1/10 of the hops was taking out in taxes before it got to us.
that could be. Rob, this is probably a 1 on your scale, just in case you're wondering.
I will vote 1 by fiat.
He votes 1 with a French car?
So I'll talk about the beer. This is a very strong, bold beer, the way that West Coast IPAs, especially double IPAs, should be. It has got an extreme amount of hop in it. It's slightly sticky. It has a very strong nose to it. And it's very bitter. It's not the super floral hoppy. It's got some of that quality to it. With 10 different hops, you're going to get a lot. But it is strong. It is a very much upfront, in your face kind of double IPA. It is not for the faint of heart, as they would say. And for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and say this is a 10. It's a solid 10. It's an easy 10. It's a very different kind of double IPA than like the Pliny. Pliny is a much more refined, smoother beer. This is a very much, you have to love the very strong hop aromas and flavors and bitterness to like EnjoyBy. And I do. I love it. It's great. I've had a really long week. I've already put in like 50 hours of work this week and still have tomorrow to go. So I was really looking forward to something really strong to round out my week. So 10.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the aroma on that because that is one of my favorite things about the EnjoyBys. As soon as you pop the top, it's like you slipped and fell in a farmer's hop field. You know, it just has this great earthy, citrusy, floral and almost pine aroma that just comes out of the bottle. And if you like that thing, it draws you right in. It almost doesn't make it to the glass. It's almost just grab the beer and chug it because the aroma is so inviting. I definitely give this a 10 too. I think it's a fantastic beer. I like the idea of the freshness and the short date on these. It's just such a different idea without being gimmicky because it's something that's real, that's tangible, that you can taste. You can definitely taste in this. So yeah, I think it's a great beer. I kind of find myself when I judge these super hoppy beers as to whether or not I would have one of these over a Pliny. Would it, is it better than a Pliny? Is it the same?
It's
is it not as good? It is a little different, but honestly, I think if the two were sitting there on a bar in front of me and I had to sip one first, I think I would grab the EnjoyBy.
See, if I had to drink them both, I would drink the Pliny first because the EnjoyBy is going to ruin your taste buds, and nothing after that will kind of taste as bold. If I had to choose between the two, it would completely depend on my mood. Entirely, it would depend on what kind of mood I was in. Like today, I would pick EnjoyBy, but and I probably more times, if it was like a 10 out of 10, how many times I would probably pick Pliny 6 times and EnjoyBy 4 times. Yeah, but again, it's totally like a mood-based.
I mean, for me, they're both so rare that given either one, it's that you pick those over everything else. But I just think that if I had, if you and I were at a bar and there was a pint of Pliny and a pint of EnjoyBy, I think I'd elbow you and grab the EnjoyBy so that you had to drink the Pliny.
I think I would let you. You know what? The funny thing is, I've had Pliny on tap. If it was a decision between the, and I've never had EnjoyBy on tap. So if I think about Pliny on tap compared to EnjoyBy out of the bottle, that's why I would lean toward Pliny. But if I could try EnjoyBy on tap at a Stone brewery, that might sway me in that other direction. Because,
I haven't had either on tap, so that's.
Yeah. So one of the distinct differences, obviously the hops are much more pronounced in this. Pliny doesn't have any of that kind of stickiness that you get with this one. I mean, this has that sort of, I don't want to say sweetness, but it's kind of like that oily, hoppy stickiness that EnjoyBy has that Pliny does not have.
I think that works well with the added hop flavor that comes with it, though. You get more of that stickiness, but you're getting more of that bitter hop assault. So you're looking for something sweet to kind of balance it out. I just think it is the perfect blend.
So this is the first time that we've done EnjoyBy on the show. I thought that we might have had it as a BYOB at some point, but I'm not seeing it listed anywhere. So that's a little surprising to me.
Yeah, I know you sent it to me, but yeah, it was always just to drink because we weren't doing it on the show.
I think I decided to not send it to Rob because he would just pour it out.
All I can say is thank goodness I voted 1.
The funny thing is, his appreciation of IPAs has come so far. It would be interesting to do a blind test with him and have a Pliny and an EnjoyBy in the mix and see where he thought it was if he didn't know what they were.
Yeah. Well, because he just had an IPA at that brewery in North Carolina, right? And you rated it very high.
Beer Flight just last night.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's not the complete IPA hater he used to be. So I almost want to go back over some of these classic IPAs that we've rated so high and give them to Rob in a brown bag and see if he can figure out if they're still terrible.
No, they're still terrible.
Or if he's matured to the point where he can at least appreciate them, if not enjoy them and gulp them down like we do.
I think his mental bias against Pliny is tainting him right now. I think if he were to try it now, he would have a different opinion.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you tell him, if you gave it to him in an unmarked bottle and told him it's a new Texas brewery, that's startup that's right around the corner from him, and this is their IPA, and what do you think? And then later you uncovered and said, "You've been drinking Pliny," and. He'd be like the lady who was like, "Oh, I've been soaking in dish soap."
That would be actually a really good show, like the punked or Candid Camera version of beer tasting for beer snobs.
Totally.
You mix in some of the mass breweries, some PBR, some Blue Moon, and some like really good high quality craft brews, and see how much people can taste the difference.
Mm-hmm. It would be interesting.
Can I just say I love my wife?
What's she doing?
Let me just tell you. I just want to say I just love her.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing.
Rob doesn't want to sleep on the couch tonight or in the car, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's really good. She's smiling at me.
She's just off camera enjoying your Jack and Coke with you.
Yeah. Well, there's a hot tub on the porch. That's all.
Oh, okay. I see. Or don't see, as the case, maybe.
Is she wearing any kind of garment, or is she all natural?
I'm going to say...
Now we know why Rob's smiling so much.
Yeah. Rob may excuse himself from the show in a moment, and it won't be because of connection problems, if you catch my meaning.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
He's having trouble focusing.
Yeah. So my drink, on the other hand, is a all-time classic. Gentleman Jack Daniels is currently my favorite whiskey, and it blends very, very well with Coke. So the Gentleman Jack and Coke, highly recommend it. It's a little on the pricey side, but
all right, so let's talk whiskeys for a minute. What have been the other high-priced whiskeys that you've had?
I have tried several of the other, like Makers.
Maker's Mark, Jim Beam.
In fact, Nicole had Makers this evening at dinner. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Makers myself, and I don't like particularly the smokier whiskeys.
Oh, see, that's what I love.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I just find I mean, regular Jack is just fine, but
Mhm.
Gentleman's Jack is just so freaking smooth and so just nice. Just goes down so nicely.
Yeah, I've had Gentleman Jack too, and I do like it a lot. It's a great
Yeah.
whiskey.
I have not
Um,
had that. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but I generally prefer makers over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And let me
of
just say-
anything mass produced. Now, whiskey is becoming a nice little craft subject in and of
Yes, it
itself.
is. Yes, absolutely.
And there's a couple distilleries right here in Rochester too that are doing a fantastic job on bourbons and whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Gentleman's not a bad choice. I can't really
No,
fault you
it's
for it.
pretty-
I'm just
pretty
curious
good.
where else you've been, and if you've gotten into any of that craft stuff.
I haven't yet, no. But while I have a second, while we were actually talking about beer, I texted the guys in our Slack chat last night that I went to the Lost Province Brewery in Boone, North Carolina, and I decided to do one of their beer flights. And for the beer flight, I chose a Pilsner, a strawberry wheat, an IPA, and a bitter.
I thought it was a cherry wheat.
Cherry wheat, sorry, cherry wheat. Thank you. Nicole's correcting me from the hot tub.
I remember better than you too.
Yes, sorry. And let me just tell you that each one of those beers was fantastic. Yes, even the IPA was really, really good. And so if you ever make it to Boone, first of all, you should come to Boone anyway because it's an awesome city, awesome little town, home of Appalachian State University. So it's a very cute little college town. But anyway, if you do come to Boone, go to the Lost Province Brewery because they have some really great brews. The Pilsner, I was telling my wife last night that the Pilsner, the Chill Pils, is probably one of the better.
That's a good name.
Yeah, Chill Pils was one of the better Pilsners I can ever remember having. I don't want to go out on a limb and say it was the best I've ever had because that's saying something, but it certainly was just a fantastic Pilsner. So.
Wow. Do they bottle and distribute, or kind of like a brewery little? Like,
It's a
nano
pretty
thing?
small concern. It's a pretty small concern right now. They just opened in 2014.
Okay.
But I'm here for another week. I'm hoping that we're going to go back next week for trivia night, and I'm definitely this time going to pick up a growler because you can get a growler for $20 and a refill for $15. So it's really, really pretty inexpensive.
That's a good
It's not a
good
bad
win
price.
price for growlers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever make it to North Carolina, and I will certainly try to look them up.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful little town tucked up in the mountains.
It's this stuff that I really love too. It's the local that's maybe distributing to a few restaurants around it, but that's it. You pretty much have to go to them to get the beer. I love that kind of thing.
And we decided to forego the entrees and had a delicious cheese plate for dinner.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Oh.
It was amazing.
They do that around here too. We right at the Tap and Mallet, they have a really great cheese plate, and you just have 2 or 3 beers and a cheese plate, and it's a wonderful night. But you know how I feel about cheese, so.
I do.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Speaking of like the local craft brewing, a little bit of news this week in these parts. There's a little brewery that's up in Santa Rosa, which is like 20 minutes north of us, that called Moonlight Brewing. That Lagunitas Brewing Company just threw some money into, which is an interesting investment. Yeah. So it doesn't. I don't see anything about how much they're investing into it.
They're investing now. They're investing, but they're owned by Heineken now.
Heineken purchased a 50% stake in Lagunitas Brewing. So
Right. Okay. So they're part owned by Heineken, and then
so Lagunitas is
they're
half owned by.
taking some of that money and investing in another local brew.
So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and actually, in Rob's neighborhood right now in South Carolina, Lagunitas also invested in. I haven't read the details on it. It was either they're investing in a brewery or they're opening some kind of brew pub thing in South Carolina, so just a little south of where you are right now. So Lagunitas, yeah, taking that money they got from Heineken and spreading it around the more local craft brew industry. I thought that was an interesting way for them to spend that money. Someone valued the deal at like $500 million or something like that. So I think that Tony Maggie, who is the founder of Lagunitas, has plenty of money to spread around, and if he is going to help some local small businesses.
Yeah, but it's interesting that he's doing it through Lagunitas and not just personally. I wouldn't be surprised to see him personally investing in a bunch of these little things and giving himself a, not only helping the industry and these small craft brewers, but giving himself an out in case he doesn't like how Heineken works out. But at the same time, he's doing it through Lagunitas, which kind of says something else. I think that's an interesting.
Yeah, it says the brewery, the Petaluma-based brewery, announced it. So they're here it is. It's South End Brewery and Smokehouse in Charleston, South Carolina, Moonlight Brewing in Santa Rosa, and in Rob's neck of the woods, Independence Brewing Company in Austin, Texas. So they have purchased some kind of stake or investment in those three brew facilities or brew companies. Have you heard of Independence Brewing, Rob?
I may very well have. It doesn't ring a bell right now.
But right now, he's drinking Gentleman Jack and looking at his naked wife in a hot tub. So,
okay,
taxing his mind at this point may not be our best option.
Let me just say, both of those things are true.
And obviously, we're not on speaker anymore.
No, I've got my headphone in.
Smart man. You know, if you turn the camera a little bit to the side, you could have some. We could really increase our viewership.
That's probably true. Although
I will not be turning my laptop to the side.
We might get kicked off of YouTube at the same point.
Yeah, but we'll get a much better audience, right?
So I wouldn't bother you. I mean, she's there. There, I unplugged. She says, "Why don't you want me to hear?" There you go.
Oh dear. Hi, Nicole. We miss you. Every inch of you we miss.
That's what she said.
We're enjoying our vacation. Look, see, we've been up here for a week, just the two of us, which has been nice because we have not taken a vacation together.
Oh, really? I assumed you were there with your in-laws. You're just there alone, huh?
No. Well, that's a long story. We were to have been up at my in-laws have a cabin of their own that's just a few miles away, but they had gotten a new dog, and the dog came down with parvo, which
if
you don't have a dog, parvo is a very, very serious virus that can kills lots of dogs. So their dog did survive. He pulled it through, but we can't be around that dog or the place where he lives, or our dogs can't be there. Because they're susceptible. So we actually ended up renting. We ended up renting a cabin very similar to theirs, a few miles away. So we're here for a week by ourselves, just by ourselves and our dogs. And then tomorrow, some of Nicole's friends from Louisiana are going to join us for the second week.
Oh, sweet! That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So how many people are you going to have in the cabin tomorrow?
It'll be a couple and their 3 kids.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You know,
so we're,
a night. Yeah. I was going to say, a night alone with your wife is a very, very precious thing, especially if you have children. So it may not be as big of a deal, but I think Keith would agree that if you had 24 hours alone with your wife, is kind of like a miracle.
Hang on.
24. God, I pray for things like 3 hours alone.
Gilly and I's anniversary was last week, and we got away for a night, and it was.
Congratulations.
It was.
Not on the anniversary. I'm getting away.
Yeah. It was nice to not have any of those distractions. I mean, I love my kids, but once in a while, you just kind of need to. Chill out.
Mm-hmm.
We chilled out a lot.
and so we're going to try to keep ourselves busy and do a lot of things. But one of the things we're hopefully going to try is to take advantage of Jeremy's recommendation from a couple weeks ago and try some geocaching.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
That'll be
There's
great
lots
to do
of-
with the kids.
You should
there's
try
lots
it.
They will love
Manage
that.
Your wife tonight.
Sorry.
What?
Nothing. Nothing. No. Sorry.
Oh, Gary is Gary's enjoying his EnjoyBy.
Yeah. My glass is empty. I need to refill
Doesn't take you much.
I have had minimal calories today, and it's a 9.4% beer. I think we forgot to mention that. So 9.4%, pretty high up there.
Yeah.
So
Definitely the perfect percentage for a 22 and an evening alone, for what it's worth.
So we didn't move into another segment. Are we going to move into
Sure.
What's that one called, Rob?
Pint. That was well. To the Pint is our beer segment. Pint Taken is our topic segments for the week. So go, Keith. All right.
There we go. Nice little 70s theme for you.
So
Hey, it's not the TARDIS.
just like last week's vote, there are people strongly for or against and strongly against discussing this topic. So I think it's perfectly fitting. Shall we discuss? Maybe just take 5 minutes to outline how we feel about Brexit.
Okay. We got to start. If we're going to do this, we got to start with explaining to Keith why the hell it's called Brexit.
Britain exit.
Really?
Yeah.
God,
It's
that
that
sounds like
simple,
something
yes.
I would name. That's terrible.
Well, you're missing the ones that are supposed to come next, like Italy and
Italy.
there's some other.
That's better. That's
Italy
much
is better than Brexit, and
There was Portugal.
Portugal. Pulling out. Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, last week, by about 1 million votes, folks in Great Britain, which includes Scotland, England, and Wales and Northern Ireland, voted that they wish to separate.
Just Northern Ireland, though.
Just Northern Ireland.
Not
Voted
Southern
to-
Ireland.
Voted that they wish to separate from the European Union. And if you're not aware, the European Union has been a consolidation of all the European countries in Western Europe since about 1993. So it's about 23 years old. Hasn't been around for very long. There's lots of reasons why Britain said that they wanted out, not the least of which is some of these other countries are having terrible financial difficulties, and Britain is worried that it will start dragging them down as well. Other concerns, other concerns are that they've been pouring tons and tons of money into supporting this European Union and providing the lion's share of support, and not really receiving much in return. And there's other issues out there for some people, like national pride and national unity, any number of issues. And it was pretty much one-sided for most of the effort while they were getting it out. It was pretty much determined going into the vote that they were going to choose to remain. In fact, the remaining side in polls right up until the vote was up by anywhere from 8 to 10%. But that all changed last Thursday night, and in 2 years, the people of Great Britain have recommended in 2 years that they leave the European Union. Now, this vote is not just, hey, we're out, we voted and we're out. It's a recommendation, or kind of a referendum to the Parliament over the course of action they want them to take. So we'll see what happens with that. But gentlemen, where do you stand on Brexit?
I think the name sucks, like Keith said. They need a better name. I'm not British, and I don't play Brit on TV or anything like that. But
Nor
I do
are you
have,
a member of the EU.
nor am I a member of the EU. But I do have coworkers that are from the UK. There's a guy that I work with who was a UK citizen, is a UK citizen, and he and his family decided they wanted to move to Spain. And so they just moved to Spain. And he was over here visiting. This was several months ago. I'm like, oh wow. I'm like, well, how did you manage to do that? What was that process like? He's like, no, we're part of the EU. We can just move to Spain. I'm like, oh, so it's sort of like me deciding I'm going to move to Oregon.
Yeah.
And they just moved. So I haven't had a chance to catch up with him, but I'm wondering how that's going to impact him. It's like he's a UK citizen living in Spain. He works remotely, so he could work anywhere. So I thought that was kind of a really cool thing, that he could just kind of like, I want to go live in, I don't know, whatever, France, Italy, Austria, Holland, whatever, and just go. So I don't really care, but I think that he probably does and is a little bit concerned. One thing I did notice, I saw this right afterwards, right after the vote, like last Friday. The top questions via Google, this is officially from Google, the top questions that were searched for on Google right after the vote was announced in the UK. So these are specific to the UK. Google searches right after the results of the votes were announced. This is the top 5. What does it mean to leave the EU? That kind of makes sense because some people might not have really understood. The second question is, what is the EU?
Yeah, I thought that was funny too. I saw that.
Which countries are in the EU? What will happen now that we've left the EU, and how many countries are in the EU? So based on those 5 questions, my opinion is that the people of the UK voted without having any fucking idea what they were voting for.
Well, and I think that's true, because I've read another article that said something like they're calling for a revote because after they voted against or for leaving the EU, the paper started coming out with all the consequences, and everybody was very surprised. Like, what the hell? You didn't tell us this before. Why didn't you tell us this before? I think we need a revote count. So there was actually a backlash against the press for not informing the public as to what they were voting for, which I found was very interesting, since I think in most cases the press doesn't matter anymore. Apparently in England they blame the press for not informing them of what they're voting for.
I honestly think that people voting to leave and that vote winning was so far down on the politicians and the press at large that they thought it so unlikely to happen that they really didn't do what normally they would do and try to sway things to their point of view. And I think this just caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like it caught the UK by surprise. Like they really didn't understand what they were doing.
Yeah, even the people who think it's a good idea didn't really expect it to go through.
No.
Yeah, there was another graphic that I saw, like an infographic thing, that listed out the voting ages of people and how many of them voted for the exit or against the exit. And the majority of the people that voted for the exit were older, like 60 plus, and the majority that voted for staying in the EU were younger. So basically, it was a lot of people that were around before Britain, UK joined the EU, wanted to leave, and people that were born after they joined the EU wanted to stay.
I think that's interesting too, because if that demographic matches the U.S. at all, we generally get a much larger turnout percentage of the population that's older than we do of the younger crowd.
It didn't say it didn't have that. That
so
just like
based on that, if the younger crowd had gotten out to vote, they probably could have held it. But
they might have.
I personally don't give a rat's ass what British and the European Union does, but interestingly enough, since I've for the last year or year and a half, I've worked for an international corporation for the first time in my life. this has pretty big effects on international corps, especially ones who have manufacturing plants in, say, Waterford, Ireland, or specifically outside of London. Because now England and the rest of the EU become subject to tariffs because the EU was a free trade zone before for the member countries. So if England does back out, then they become subject and they can charge tariffs coming in and out again. So that kind of thing is, without having some concerns in place, seems like a real odd move to make, to just give up on free trade. It would seem to me like if you thought this was seriously going to happen, you might have a free trade agreement already intact with at least some of the major players in Europe.
Well, I mean, the British government
British
government didn't have any authority to go and negotiate those kinds of agreements.
Right, because they at that point, why would you? Because you were a member.
Right. Yeah.
So that's an interesting consequence of this that will need to be resolved quickly, or else the economy is really going to have a problem.
Yeah. The company I work for now is fairly large, and we have a presence in London, in the UK, and was actually quoted in an article, I think in Motley Fool or The Street or one of those online financial websites. About 10% of the business apparently comes from the UK for the company that I work for, which is, you think 10% is not huge, but for a global company, 10% is enough to impact your bottom line and to affect your stock. And if you've been looking at the stock market since last Thursday, you'll notice that everything is pretty much in the shitter. So the vote did definitely have an impact on America. I mean, if you have mutual funds, if you have 401ks, those kinds of things, the value of your retirement investments has probably dropped dramatically in the last 7 days. So that vote definitely did impact us, whether or not we realize it.
If you work for the company I work for, you've given up on those types of funds a long time ago, and basically either left the company for greener pastures or given up on the fact of retiring ever. So.
Well, let me just say.
So that's separate from Brexit. That's just.
Let me just say that
quality management.
Working for a bank, an international bank, that we have quite a few accounts and clients in Great Britain and all over the EU. So there's a lot of apprehension in our company too. They're all about trying to keep our noses to the grindstone and just make sure that we provide good service and all that kind of stuff. But there is, a lot of anxiety about it. Let me just say this: the EU has been a horribly mismanaged group. It is, without a doubt, a failure in most respects from top to bottom in the way that it's been run. And for that reason alone, I personally think that Great Britain has every right to want to pull out of that organization if they so choose. What stands to come next is how to do that delicately so that you don't ruin either the EU that you're leaving or the country that you're trying to basically reformulate. And there's a lot of moving pieces, and they only supposedly, if they go through with this, they only have 2 years to do it. Which, when you think about uncoupling yourself from a nation or a nation of states, it's an incredibly complex procedure. Just think about think about California deciding to secede from the United States, and having to do so in 2 years to come up basically with their own set of national governance. Which Great Britain already had, and California has their state governance too, but with all the pieces of a government that you have to put together basically on your own, it's a huge, huge undertaking. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of growing pain, and it probably in the short term is going to be very bad for both Great Britain and the EU. But I sense, my personal opinion is that in the long run, it's probably going to end up being better for Great Britain to get out, just because the EU is kind of becoming an albatross around the neck of Great Britain and maybe Germany as well, although Germany probably will never leave the EU because they have so much power in it. So time will tell, but it's certainly a monumental thing that happened.
Yeah, I don't think they'll actually leave, but I do kind of get a lot of what you're saying, the way it's run and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go. What I'm really hopeful for is that I mentioned that my wife and I just had an anniversary, and next year is our 25th anniversary, and we were planning to go to Europe. So I'm hoping that with the whole Brexit thing, that it flips kind of the currency trade thing, and it makes it really affordable for us to go to Europe next year. And if we could get a really awesome vacation to the United Kingdom for our anniversary, then I'm all for Brexit. That would just make Brexit awesome.
One thing is for sure is that American money is going to go a long way because the dollar, people are going back toward the dollar. So your dollar is going to get quite a bit in Great Britain.
So
that's what I'm hoping for.
Never actually embraced the euro anyway. They always
no, they did.
Yeah,
they accepted it. They accepted it, but they didn't change it to its official currency.
Yeah.
So incidentally, as we close this up, Keith already enjoyed Italy. Let me give you some of the other country departures. We have, of course, Brexit, but we also have Belgium. I said Portugal. There's also Departugal. Italy, we said. Finnish.
Well, that's pretty much done right there.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
There's Dungary. Nethermind.
Nethermind.
Latervia.
Nobody cares anyway for that one.
Latervia and Austria La Vista.
Long way to go, but it's worth it.
And my personal favorite, Checkout.
I don't know. I kind of like Nethermind.
Nethermind might be the best, yeah.
So all right.
Although Italy is pretty damn good still.
With that, we'll bid a fond farewell to our pint taken segment and go on to our topic. Yeah.
Rob, how come there's nothing for Greece?
Because it's just Greece. Because Greece is going to bring down the entire EU anyway. They'll be the last ones there.
They are the EU.
Yeah. All right, so now we go to our point segment. It's time for Half Pint. Go, Keith.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
Okay.
There you go. That's it.
Nice and short one. First of all, let me say, Keith, Johnny on the spot tonight with the transitions. Very good. Now we just have to get you to pick good stuff.
Yeah,
transition with. Yeah. All right, in our Half Pint segment, we have. Thank you very much. Thank you. In our Half Pint segment, these are things we want you to take a look at, whether they be television shows, movies, apps, music. Any types of things that we think you'd benefit from, that makes it to our Half Pint segment. Jeremy wants to talk about typing in the future?
Yes, but Jeremy's not here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we better go to his pick.
Gary has no topic, and Keith
that
has
would
no
be
topic.
the Jack Niels. Did you say me?
Yeah, Gary.
I'm ready anytime.
Okay, I have two. I'm going to do a twofer.
Go for it.
And they'll be quick. Really quick. The first one is HBO Now. As I mentioned, I don't know, like probably a lot. We stopped having DirecTV. They still have their stupid dish on my roof, but we cut them off. And we did the 30-day trial of HBO Now, and it's been pretty cool. My daughter's been staying up till hours. The one that's in college watching Game of Thrones to make sure that she doesn't see any spoilers on the interwebs. And we've been watching some other shows. And I think my daughter and the youngest daughter and I watched Independence Day the other night on HBO, the original. Yeah. Kind of figured, coming up, the new movies coming out, I think this weekend, right? And it would make sense. Yeah. The original Independence has been around for a while, right? I mean, what's that, like 10, 12 years old?
1996.
Yeah, it's.
Oh my God! So the daughter that I watched it with was not even born when it came out. But she said it was a good movie. She enjoyed it, and so it's a movie that actually has stood up. Yeah, that's a good one. So anyway, HBO Now, it's for the price, I think you get a lot for it, and their quality is much better than Sling TV. So HBO Now,
$12.95 a month, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's 15.
Okay.
Well, either way,
it's
cheaper than buying HBO, getting the HBO package on cable after the free trial ends.
Yeah, and there's some really good shows on there that we've watched via Netflix on disc and other things like Entourage and Deadwood and Sopranos. I mean, you can go back and watch all of those shows. So some really good content if you want to get it on HBO.
The only reason to get HBO Now is John Oliver. Everything else after that is gravy. It's just bonus material.
John Oliver's, he's pretty good. Yeah, I've been enjoying that too.
Let me tell you, a la carte viewing has just changed our lives. My wife and I. I mean, just it's so different than when we had satellite. Watching what we want when we want, and just cutting out all the fluff and stuff that we never really. I mean, I think I've said this in the podcast before, but just the time you'd spend just channel surfing, looking at nothing, and not watching a single thing.
Like
just I can't imagine now going back. I was concerned at first that we wouldn't like it, but man, it's just changed everything.
I can remember when my family went down to visit Rob and his wife in their new house, and watching Rob as probably an amazing expert in his field channel surf. Because you guys had, for what us, at the time, I don't think we had cut the cord yet, but we were definitely leaning into it. And with two kids, we definitely didn't watch nearly the volume of TV you guys had, because you guys always had a TV on while we were there. And Rob just knew what to watch and where it was at the time. But the skill level involved in that just blew me away, knowing what channels they were on, where they were in the satellite picture, when to join the channel, because you didn't want to join like right at the top of the hour. No. You had to skip the first commercial batch at least. So while you were watching the news on one channel, you could get that first news story in and then skip over to Survivor Man and catch it at the meat of it.
Yes.
That
was really good.
You were amazing. I've never seen anyone play the remote quite as elegantly as you.
Yeah, well, I mean, all that television watching catches up with you, and all of a sudden you need to lose, 100 pounds or so because you watch so much television. So I'm paying that off now.
Well, I mean, it was like watching a virtuoso at the time. So I appreciate it.
It's like music. It's like a fine opera.
It is. You really got to be there in person to appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, Keith, what is your pick? Sorry, Gary, you had two.
Gary, that's right. Real quick. Since we're kind of getting like up against time, we have a young lady who is in college now. She was swimming at the Olympic trials this past week. She did qualify for the Olympics, but she was on swim teams with both my daughters going through their younger years and in high school, and is down in college in Southern California, and was good enough to make it to the Olympic trials this year. I think she's probably about 19 or 20 years old.
Wow.
So that's
amazing.
Pretty awesome to just to get to the Olympic trials in a sport like swimming, where you have like Michael Phelps and those kind of people doing it. I thought that was pretty awesome. It was exciting for us to have somebody from our town even go to the Olympic trials. So kudos to Riley Scott for making it to the Olympic trials, and in 4 years we hope to see her there again and hopefully making it to the Olympics then. So
that's pretty awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm a huge fan of the Olympics in general. Despite how much I hate NBC and how they broadcast them, I love the games themselves. So, yeah. So congratulations to anybody who knows one of the local Olympians. I think that's an amazing thing, and if I'm going to root for her by proxy through you now, because that's just awesome.
Well, you'll have to root for 4 more years because she's not going this year. So
oh, she's not.
With the trials.
I can do that anyway. I can root for 4 more years.
We have a friend of ours. Their daughter is an incredible swimmer. She's the youngest on her team, and she's won multiple events, and she has the potential of being really, really good. And I don't know if she's Olympic talent yet, but she definitely could do that if she applied herself. So about a month ago, she went to the Olympic swimming training facility, I guess, which is in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. And while we were there, they had this special apparatus set up that you could, it was like a band that wrapped around you that you could swim with, and it would pull you at the same speed as world-class swimmers. So you could just get a feel for what that was like.
Oh, right.
So you could pick any one of a number of swimmers, but of course the most popular one to choose was Michael Phelps.
Right.
So she gets in the water
again this week. By the way, he'll be going to his 5th Olympics.
5th straight Olympics, a record, just amazing. So she gets in
that's crazy.
She's obviously a very good swimmer, very, very fast, but she said she was just not prepared for just how fast Michael Phelps swims, because when that band took her and started dragging her through the pool, she basically just became like a water ski.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So,
all right,
so
Keith.
this channel, just one last comment, and then we'll move to Keith because we're almost not there. I remember a few years ago at a high school swim meet when Riley Scott was swimming, and everybody knew she was really good, and she was on the high school swim team. She was still trained for preparing for the Olympics even at the time, and the race happened. You know, they go off the blocks, and you know it's all these teenagers in the pools they're swimming, and she just, without even like putting effort into it, just completely blew everybody away. And I mean pretty much everybody was like kind of just like looking at each other. The parents were like looking at each other like, "Are you kidding?" And you know, in our town, it was like it was amazing to see somebody even at her young age as a high schooler swimming that fast, and to think of how fast I saw her swim a few years ago, and compare that to what those Olympians are swimming at, it's crazy. I mean, I completely understand that story you were talking about because they swim. It's an unimaginable speed that as you watch on TV you can't even really fathom. So yeah. Anyway, that's it. All right.
Keith, your pick for the week.
I also have 2 picks. The first one will be quick, and it's in memorial of Jeremy. It's a music pick. Jeremy's not here to make it, so I'm going to make it for him, and I hope he likes it because I don't really know if he's heard of it or likes it or not. But I've recently discovered the band Silent Film, which I would describe to you as Coldplay with a positive attitude. You know, songs are very modern alternative rock-esque, but they have instead of sad, depressing lyrics, they tend to have kind of more upbeat lyrics, more positive lyrics, and I just really enjoy them. And then I found out after I started enjoying them that they're really an interesting band because they've made their way through the world completely as an independent. And they're getting radio station airplay and everything, but as an independent group, I haven't signed with a label. So I think that's cool too. So definitely, if you haven't yet, and I know I'm late to the party, so you probably have, but if you haven't yet, check out the band Silent Film. They're on Pandora and everything else, so you can just look them up and listen to some of their stuff, and it's really nice. It's really good stuff. Second is way more geeky and definitely not recommended for everyone. But if you are into technology and you are into the nuts and bolts of it and you are into the code of it and you are into configuring things to make them work the way you want, then I need to recommend to you the Buffalo routers, and specifically the ones that come with the open source operating system on them, DDWRT. The band, Jeremy or Gary, see, I did it, Rob. The band is A Silent Film, I think is the
A
band.
silent film.
A Silent Film, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, that's our website, asilentfilm.com. So anyway, Buffalo routers. I went searching for a new router recently because I realized the one I had was very old, and it was actually most of my computers were accepting the errors, and so I didn't really notice it. But a couple of them started really giving me fits, and I couldn't figure out why. And it was because my wireless connection kept dropping, and it would actually drop 3 and 4 times an hour. And then immediately come back. So if you were just web surfing, you might not even notice. But for anything streaming, this was becoming a problem. So I went out searching for a new one with some birthday money, and I really wanted something open source and awesome. And I knew that from a previous recommendation that Gary had recommended this like $300 super intelligent behemoth thing that just gauges your house for you and puts out the right signals in the right places. But I didn't really want to spend that kind of money, and I really wanted to, instead of just kind of looking at it and letting it work, I really wanted to get into it and make it work the way I wanted it to, which led me to the open source operating system DDWRT, and then I kind of wanted a router that I could run that on, and in looking for ones that were acceptable for that, I found that the Buffalo routers, a lot of them had it pre-installed. So I bought one of those for about $90 on Amazon, and I installed it about 2 weeks ago now, and I absolutely love this thing. It has charts and graphs on it that tell you what's going on when in your household. You can go back and look at history. You can tweak it and set up services. It will behave as a file server. It will behave as a VPN client. It'll behave as a VPN server if you like. You can set this thing up any number of ways and tweak it to your heart's desire, and just very, for me, easy to use web pages. Although I doubt if I showed my wife or my in-laws anything like this, they would, their eyes would glaze over. So I think it's something you kind of have to be into to like. But for $90 and a bit of configuration, this thing will do amazing things like enterprise level things for your home. Like I can
So for how much time did you spend configuring it?
To get it just up and running, I spent less than an hour getting it up and running.
Okay.
And it's operating that way now. But then, earlier this week, I went back and set up the VPN server so that, like, if I'm out at a Panera or something, I can route my phone's web traffic through my home router, and so nobody can spy on it, through a secure channel on that. And that took me another maybe 15 minutes to set up. But this is me. I'm real technically savvy. I understand what these acronyms mean and stuff like that. So it's, like I said, it's not for everyone. You've got to be able to dive into this thing and want to enjoy it. But if you can, and you like that kind of thing, the rewards are amazing. There's add-on modules and packages you can get. You could turn this thing into a little tiny web server. You can connect it to a shared drive in your house and serve pictures to your friends and family from it. It's just amazing what it can do. And because it's open source, it tends to be updated more frequently and often, and security holes patched way quicker than anything else I ever saw from D-Link or Linksys/Cisco in the past. So I just think it's if you're a geek, definitely check out Buffalo Wireless routers, and if you're not a geek, then maybe buy the one that Gary has. That's several $100s, but equally as awesome. in its usability. And I'm done, so that Rob can go spend some time with his wife. I'm gonna leave.
I do have picks for the week. Do I
No,
get to
your pick should be your wife, and you should go see her house.
You do have a pick. She's waiting in the hot tub for you.
Yeah, and yeah.
Okay.
Sheepishly, okay.
Okay.
I mean, I worked on my picks, but okay.
Well, it's your call. We're here for you.
I can do mine quick. All right,
All right,
so
If you'd rather do that, then
Do a quickie, but we all want it on record that you're choosing us over her.
No, not really. Okay, so as we talked on the show a few times, I'm kind of I'm working on the weight loss thing, and I've lost about 85 pounds now. And thanks. So one of the things that my wife and I has found, my wife's lost about 135 pounds, by the way. 140. She yelled at me. I'm 145.
That's a whole other person, by the way.
Yeah. So anyway, one of the things that we have found that's been really cool for us is this product called PB2, and it is a peanut butter substitute, and it is actually made from peanuts, but it's a powdered that comes from it where they have removed 85% of the fat from peanuts. So you can have, you put 2 tablespoons of powder in a little dish, you mix it with a little water, and all of a sudden you've got peanut butter. That's really, really good. It's obviously not as sweet as regular peanut butter because you're cutting out the sugar. And you're cutting out the fat, and we're using it to mix with our shakes and putting it on top of our diet brownies and all this kind of stuff, and it's really, really good. You can find it on Amazon. I actually did paste the link into our show notes through the PNRShow.com website. So if you'd like to give some PB2 a try, it's very, very good. I highly recommend it. My second recommendation for the week is Twilight Struggle. I was talking with Keith about this just before the show went on. Twilight Struggle was the #1 rated board game on Board Game Geek, which is the board gamers website out there. It was the #1 rated game on that site for 5 years, which is a record for a board game. It's now #2 because a new game has just come out that's eclipsed it, but it's now become available on iOS, Android, and Steam. And basically it is a 2-player game where it's the U.S. versus the Soviet Union in the Cold War. And basically through different events that happen in the game on various cards, you exchange influence in various countries, you stage coups, you realign influence and try to subvert the other side's influence in their countries. You try to improve your own country through the space race. Meanwhile, you're trying to avoid nuclear war. At least you don't want to be the one to cause nuclear war, because whoever does loses the game. And is it a little bit more on the complex side? But the tutorial that Playdeck, which is the company that changed it into an app, the tutorial that Playdeck puts out for the app is fantastic, and it does allow online play and asynchronous play. So it's a really, really good game and a lot of fun. I've been playing it all week long and having a good time with it. So Twilight Struggle is a fantastic 2-player strategy war type game. So give it a try.
Yeah, I can't type on my phone right now.
I'm actually looking at PB2 on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I need to know, Rob, if you've tried the chocolate PB2.
Yes, we have currently a jar of the regular and a jar of the chocolate.
And the chocolate is equally as good?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
going to be checking this shit out.
So the jars are like the same size as a regular jar of peanut butter at the store, right?
The same size as a really big jar of peanut butter.
Okay, 16-ounce jar. So
Yeah.
how far?
Which those
does
of
this
us
go?
with kids buy that much.
Yeah. So how far does that go? Like, I mean, how long does that
Well,
last you?
If you take, 2 tablespoons of PB2 mixed with 2 tablespoons of water, obviously gives you about 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, which is plenty for a sandwich. So, we go through it. What would you say, Nicole? We go through a jar maybe a month? A month or two, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on how much we're using it.
So Gary, like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So an average jar.
So what I've been doing is one of the things I have for my diet is a chocolate shake, and I'll mix the chocolate shake with a little bit of almond milk and ice cubes, and put 2 tablespoons of PB2, which is only 40 calories, for 2 tablespoons, and it comes out tasting like a chocolate peanut butter shake, and it's delicious.
Can you get it in crunchy?
No. Don't stir it up very much. It'll be a little crunchy.
I'm just wondering if I take a bag of peanuts and just bang them up, can I just mix those in and make crunchy?
No, unfortunately, because they had to remove all the crunchy pieces to get the oil and the fat and the sugar out of it.
But I like crunchy.
You can put some ice in there and make it kind of crunchy.
Oh no! I'm gonna try this anyway though, because this looks really good. And right now I'm just hungry, which is a bad sign. So,
It's all that 9.4% beer you've been drinking.
Yeah,
So that's
I think
all
I'm
right.
gonna go upstairs and just have a big peanut butter sandwich, and then
Well, then what you should do
tomorrow.
Then what you should do, Keith, is close out the show. Do it.
Oh right, show.
I'd rather have a
Forgot we were having a show.
I'll take a strong stout over strife. I prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager than life. I'll take a strong stout over strife. I prefer to
So long, y'all.
I can't stop the show because I'm still looking at PB2.